Hello there, I'm Dr. Rebecca Sansom. I am a chemistry professor, and this is part of my series for first generation college students. I was a first generation college student myself. My parents both went to a little bit of college but didn't graduate from college. As young people, anyway, my mom did go back and finish her degree later, which was amazing. But I was a first generation college student. First generation college students can have some unique challenges. And one of the things that can be particularly hard, not being familiar with the whole landscape of the university and the college, is what classes am I supposed to take? So this is a really big question because obviously the classes that you take are going to determine your major when you're graduating, all really important things. So my advice for you today, first generation students, is this. Number one, if you have a declared major, then you should know which classes you need to take to fulfill the requirements for that major. Now, usually there's going to be some classes that are absolutely required. Everybody has to take them. And then there might be some classes where within your major you can choose a sort of track or path. For example, within chemistry, you could choose chemistry or biochemistry as a major, and there's slightly different requirements depending on which track that you choose. And then there's usually also some like a kind of a free choice, but they're within your major, elective courses. So some advanced chemistry or biochemistry classes, in my case, in the chemistry department, or if it's a different major, some advanced classes within your major that there'll be a list and you can choose 3 or 4 from that list. You don't have to take all of them, but you should take several of them. And then there's going to be general education requirements from the university. So all of these things are a lot. So the best thing for you to do is to know what those courses are and to make a plan for yourself of when you're going to take them, and make sure that you know how you're going to get those courses done within the time that you have at the university. My second piece of advice is talk to an academic advisor. So depending on your university, there are going to be people either within your department or your college, or sometimes it's a university-wide thing where they're going to have academic advisors. And these people are tasked with knowing all of the requirements for the major and helping you make a path to get through your major successfully. They also know lots of other things that are useful, like who are the professors that are really challenging? Who are the professors that people just love? Which classes you should avoid taking together, or like make sure you take this one before you take that one, even if it's not an official prerequisite, but it's really helpful to have it. Those kinds of things can be so valuable. And advisors may or may not be required. At my university, it's not required that anyone talk to an academic advisor really at all throughout their whole academic career. They can just choose all their classes and do their own thing on their own. But some universities will require you. Where I went to school, I was required to meet with an academic advisor every semester before I could register for classes. I sort of prefer that model because it just makes sure that you're on track. And this is the thing. If academic advising isn't required at your university, it's still there and you can still use it, and it's never a bad idea. So take advantage of that resource of an academic advisor. That's my second piece of advice. Third piece of advice. But wait a minute, Dr. Sansom, what if I'm undeclared? I don't have a major. Well, if you don't have a major yet, then it's time to get serious about getting one. And the reason is some majors will have courses that you have to take in sequence that literally take 4 years. So the longer you wait to get into that major, the longer you're going to be in school. So what you need to do is think about what are the things that I enjoy, what are the things that I'm good at, what are the things that are going to lead to a successful career, and where do I find the intersection of these things? And if you have multiple choices, start taking classes in both. Go talk to the professors, go talk to people who are majoring in that subject, and find out whether that's going to be a thing that's going to keep you engaged, that's going to feel exciting and meaningful to you as you progress in your career. There's also going to be, through your academic advisor, things like aptitude tests or career pathway tests that you can take that can kind of help guide your decision. But ultimately, the decision is yours and you have to make it. So get going on getting the information you need to be able to make that decision successfully. Okay. Next piece of advice, number 4, make sure that you're balancing your class load. So one of the mistakes that I see a lot from first generation students specifically is you come in and you're like, okay, I'm a chemistry major, so I need to take chemistry and physics and calculus and biology all in my first year on the first day that I arrive at the campus. Now, in high school, you can take all of the classes that you want. You take 6 or 7 or 8 classes and everything is fine. But at the university, the workload is just different. And when you have so many intense classes at the same time, it can really be challenging to balance your time and make sure that you're able to be successful in all of them. So use your academic advisor, talk to other people in the major, and figure out like, okay, that Chem 105 class, I'll choose that one because it's one that I teach. That Chem 105 class is really tough. You want to make sure you're not taking a bunch of other hard classes at the same time. Make sure you've got enough time to focus on Chem 105. And that's great advice. You do want to do that. You have to find the balance. Maybe add in some of your general education classes, put in your student development classes, your wellness classes, put those all in that semester where you're taking that really hard class. Now, eventually, no matter what your major is, you're going to get to the advanced classes and you're going to have multiple advanced challenging classes, but they're going to be hopefully in your major, things that you're excited about. And even then, you don't want to have 4 of them in the same semester, right? Try to keep it to 2 or 3 max. So make sure that you have the right balance of really challenging and really easy classes so that you are not going to be overloaded and unable to keep up. If you find yourself in a situation where you have enrolled in too many really challenging classes and it's too much, then the best thing you can do mid-semester is take a little scan of where you're at, figure out what's going on with your classes, and if you're not going to make it in all of your classes because you've got one class that's dragging you down, that's taking too much time and energy, that's so challenging, then you may need to withdraw from that class. And I know withdrawing sounds scary and terrible, but it's really not that big of a deal. Most students will withdraw from something at some point in their college career, and nobody really notices or cares unless you're withdrawing from everything all the time. So you shouldn't do that. Don't withdraw from everything all the time. Plan carefully. But if you find yourself in over your head, the best thing for you to do is to figure that out and say, okay, I've got to get rid of one of these classes, get rid of it, withdraw from that class, and then use your energy to be successful in your other classes. And the sooner that you realize that mistake, the better it's going to be. When I see a student that has to withdraw, I think withdrawing is like a smart, mature, wise choice, right? If you don't withdraw and you end up getting a failing grade in that class, it's going to tank your GPA. It's going to cause all kinds of problems, but getting a W doesn't really cause a lot of problems. Again, talk to your academic advisor if you're in that situation. They can help you choose what the best pathway forward is, and they'll be familiar with any consequences that there might be. So for example, if you have to maintain a certain credit load or you have financial aid, you'll want to talk to an academic advisor to make sure that you're not going to have any weird consequences from making that decision. Okay, last piece of advice, this is number 5. And this is just a reminder that you are at the university once in your lifetime. And while you're at the university, you have the opportunity to take classes in whatever you want to take them in. And you probably will never have that opportunity again, not in the same way that you do now. As a college student. So make sure that you're taking those classes that are the ones that are fun and exciting, the ones that are expanding your mind, the ones that are expanding your soul, that are helping you think about the world differently. When I was an undergraduate, I actually came in with a bunch of AP credits that helped me take care of general education requirements. And so I had a little bit extra space in my schedule that I was able to fill out with things that I was interested in and things that I loved. And I was a chemistry major, but I took music classes, I took philosophy classes, I took Italian classes. I did a bunch of different things that were fun and exciting and made me think about the world differently. I even took a Shakespeare class. It was not required. And do I recommend it? I don't know. It depends on you. But I was like, I think this will stretch my brain in a different way. It'll be good for me, you know? And it certainly did. It was a big challenge. But I'm glad that I did it because it just helped me have a better foundation in I don't know, understanding the world around me and thinking about the world, having different viewpoints. And that is so important. So as you're planning your class schedule, my final advice here is make sure you're meeting the requirements, make sure you're on track to graduate, make sure you balance everything out, but also make sure that you're including time and space for those things that are going to expand your horizons and open up your mind and help you think differently and engage with the world around you. I hope this is helpful. I hope you are able to make good choices for your classes, and I hope you have a great day.